I always loved Tekken since I first saw it. Not for its combos, sure, they are amazing, but I truly loved because of the characters, and of course, because of Tekken 5 opening Sparkling. As I learned more of the series, the more I enjoyed, and the more I wanted to know, and I wanted to share that through a review of the first game. Why? Because it's fun. Tekken 1 was released in 1994, bringing a lot of attention for its similarities to Virtua Fighter. Both games had a basis in a three-dimensional arena in a fighting game, a concept developed truly in the Virtua Fighter 1. Initially, the game presents 8 characters with different stories, and 10 more characters exclusive to the console version that have no stories. The game was released in arcades and the PlayStation 1. Later, it was released in the PSP, the PS3, and the PS Vita. The game at the time received mostly positive reviews, with most of them comparing of course to its rival at the time, Virtua Fighter 2. A sentiment at the time was even though Tekken looked slightly worse, it had better gameplay, better animations, and personality than its rival. Development. As it said in The Art of Tekken, a complete visual history, Tekken going to the PlayStation 1 at the time was seen as a change of pace. Nanco had released many games with Nintendo, but the decision to keep using cartridges in the Nintendo 64 changed the expectations, making Sony, a company that was using discs, seem more appealing to work with, especially because Sony showed interest in having a rival to Virtua Fighter, to the point of making changes to the PlayStation capabilities to better accommodate a 3D fighting game, and this game would be Tekken. That similarity with Virtua Fighter was no coincidence. As Katsuhiro Harada says, the initial idea was not even to try and differentiate from Virtua Fighters by mechanics or playstyle. Tekken started as mostly a test to see if they could use textures in 3D characters and try to reach 60 FPS. Even though Virtua Fighter 2 in 1994 reached 60 FPS, Tekken 1 has an advantage to be able to do that in cheaper machines, and because of the similarities of said machines, it was easier to port to the PS1, which definitely helped to popularize it even more than its rival, Virtua Fighter 2. Let's talk about the characters and the plot. Yoshimitsu! He's a weird one. In the opening, he seems like a well-trained warrior with a metallic body, indicating a fun backstory. And his ending shows him using the money of the tournament and giving to the people in need, especially Law. His mask looks and even his arcade ending show a serious character. Well, this completely changes in his fighting style. He carries a blade all the time, and he barely uses, preferring to instead be a tricky character using a fighting style that confuses as well as hurts opponents and himself. Now for the manual. It is revealed that he is an alien ninja. Don't ask about it, they never talk about this ever again. Head of the World Thief Ring, and most important of them all, they are all Robin Hood types. Which means the ending shows what he does after he stole the money from the tournament, which is a great way to make his ending because even if he lost the tournament, the outcome would be the same. Nina, a talented assassin trained by her father and trained by her mother in the art of Aikido to make sure she can defend herself. I don't know why she needs that. I mean, if you are trained as an assassin, you'll probably know how to defend yourself, but whatever. She goes to the tournament to kill Heihachi Mishima, but her objective seems beyond that. This is all taken from the manual. In-game, her story seems very unclear. In the opening, she runs from a light that found her, maybe doing a job or trying to invade the inner parts of the Heihachi company. Her ending, however, shows her just slapping her sister, Anna, because of an argument over a high heel that Nina stole. Why are we seeing this? I don't know. It does kind of show how their relationship works, in kind of a wrong way. Nina and Anna relationship in the next games is more of a rivalry. Here it just looks like an abusive sister and her normal sister. Also, she likes Tom from Tom and Jerry. Thank you, the manual. I really needed that. Finally, now I can relate to her. Law, the poor man. As his name doesn't imply it, he works at a restaurant, trying to make a living with the dream of having a dojo of his own. He gets into the tournament to achieve the prize money and get more popular. The most interesting part of Law is just how bland he is. Still not a complete comical relief. And at his own ending, he does his objective and he teaches some random ugly kids how to fight, or do a black flip or whatever. His fighting style is Kung Fu based on Bruce Lee. This is translated into a many hits that are quick and deal an okayish damage. Kazuya! Finally, I can talk about the main plot of the game. Kazuya, the oldest son of Heihachi Mishima. Being the eldest son of such a psychotic parent leads to a lot of pressure, and that pressure is in the ground after being thrown by his own father off a mountain. And funnily enough, he doesn't seem to care that much about it. Sure, his arcade ending is about the revenge, but he just smiles. A very small reaction for such a big victory. The fun part is in the manual. The only connection to that scar on the chest is that his dad did it. But the true focus is on the domination of the Heihachi company. His fighting style is pretty simple as he is the protagonist. It's the homemade Mishima karate style, being one of my favorites in the series for being a great starter and a great to improve fighting style. And in my opinion, one of the best fighting styles to learn how to play the game, even comparing to other fighting games. Thow Phoenix, the most interesting character in the roster for me. Why? Simple. In the manual, he's the rival of the protagonist, such as Ken. But he is different in how he contrasts Kazuya. Kazuya doesn't care about power for the sake of improving himself, so power is just a rival for him in the way that he just gets in a weird family dynamic and challenges the best. And he is presented as capable as Kazuya, but he doesn't win. Why? A boulder made him late. His fighting style is well-rounded, but with a small or big twist. His goddamn special punches. Not only it's cool, it makes a lot of damage, being a great combo ender, or just, you know, a good hit. Jack 1, a Soviet Union project, sent to the tournament to just prove himself. And his ending is he does that, and he just facilitates the production of other Jacks. Yeah, that's it. He's what he looks like. But at least in the next game he's a more of a fun character. His fighting style is of a brawler, with big arms, big body, and a lot of strength. He doesn't let any weakness show. Until you know, he does. King! Hell yeah, time for the king. What he likes is Jaguar the animal. Well, it is easy to say he's my favorite character in Tekken forever. An orphan kid that was taken by a friendly family. As an adult, he works to build his own orphanage and make sure kids have a future there. To gather funds, he's a wrestler, and when he puts the mask, he becomes an uncontrollable beast and only speaks as a jaguar. That's not a joke, he does only that. His fighting style is the grappler. With a good far-reaching moves, he's in my opinion the one that changed the most in the next games, having more ways to express his grappling abilities with combos and grabs that last for the entire match. Michelle Shang, the daughter of a Native American woman and a Hong Kong man. She enters the tournament to avenge her father, killed by Heihachi orders. Why? It's never explained in the game. Her ending is about her coming home after the tournament. If she killed Heihachi is not clear, but she finds comfort in seeing her mother, and it's a very comforting ending. What makes it weird is her fighting style as per the manual, all Chinese fighting style. It's so awkward picking her to represent Chinese fighting style in general. Don't get me wrong, how she plays is good, but it makes her feel like an afterthought to the cast, as we do have Law as a Chinese fighting style. With all the characters done, we can move on to the music and wait. We still need to talk about the 10 new characters of the PS1 version. From this point on, we will barely have any info about the characters. They are not in the manual nor have endings in game, so their storytelling is really limited. Yes, we could talk about their sequels versions, but it's a review of Tekken 1, not Tekken 2, Tekken 3 or Tekken 4. Before we start, let's make something clear. Most of the characters will be unlocked by beating the game with a certain character. That is the rival and or share similarities in their moveset, with the exception of Kairyu, that you get him beating the arcade mode with Yoshimitsu, Korimitsu, that is based on Yoshimitsu fighting style, while you need to play with Michelle, and Kuma, the biggest rival of all. Anya Williams you get from beating the arcade mode with Nina, Yang, that you get from beating the arcade mode with Law, Lee, that you get with Kazuya, Prototype Jack, Jack 1, Armored King, of course, King. And now there is the special characters, Devil, that is basically just a reskin for Kazuya. To unlock him, you must beat the Galaga minigame, the one spaceship game that starts before the game properly loads. He's an interesting addition to the game because of how much he will come to mean to the series, and how there is no mention to him anywhere in the game, except of course for this. In the next game, his role becomes clear. Heihachi Mishima. Even though he does not have a manual entry nor an ending game, he's referenced so many times in the other characters that it's easy to build something meaningful to the plot. And simply put, he is the bad guy of the game, being the antagonist of most of the playable characters and the big bad boss. And while throwing his own son from the top of the mountain, he's a certified charismatic bad guy. But how does he work for as a final boss? I always enjoy analyzing bosses in fighting games. I think they can teach a lot about the game rules and how to use them to gain a bigger advantage. Even when they're stupidly hard, like Bison or Shao Kahn, they are still enough of a complicated opponent that feels rewarding just to face. Heihachi in that regard is just fine. He's not stupidly hard, to the point that makes the game feel like it's cheating, but it's not unique enough to be memorable. Just fine and basic, and that's fine.
So, where is the game?
What good is the ultimate gaming system without the ultimate fighting game? Tekken for the Sony PlayStation, powered by Namco.
Pick up a six-pack, you idiot!
At surface level, Tekken seems just like a simple 3D fighting game. And that is not wrong assumption, it's heavily inspired by Virtua Fighter, but as any old fighting game, simplicity is its strength, and of course, its weakness. Movement is easier to predict, combos are smaller and fewer, which means the game becomes repetitive faster, but it's also all the characters are easy to learn. If you don't know, Tekken works with 4 attacks buttons: left punch, left kick, and right kick. Mixing these buttons in certain order can create combos. You will also be equipped with many different moves that are useful in many different situations, like roll, dash, or jump. One important aspect to talk about is that Tekken 1 has a 10-hit combo, that mostly are made just to show off your ability and deal a lot of damage to your opponents if you can get the hit. Well, as another fighting game, you can expect some problems. At this time, fighting games were trying to see what works and what doesn't. And well, this caused some problems, such as command delays that throw away combos, some moves straight up just pushing the opponents back dealing no damage or even putting you in a bad position or worse. Yet some move can hit, but do nothing. But what makes this game really hard to enjoy by itself is the Tekken philosophy of design. And what that design is what I like to call constant evolution. As you may have noticed by seeing Tekken 7 or 8 gameplay, it's very similar to other Tekkens, even Tekken 1. Of course, the original game looks more limited. This happens because Tekken doesn't try to completely change the wheel with each next game. It just tries to improve what is there, and to be more recognizable to the players and is creating a smaller barrier to entry. And I respect that. This brings a sense of cohesion to the series that is to be appreciated. Other games suffer with that, like Mortal Kombat 9, 10, and 11, where even every single moveset must have a new command and a new mechanic, and this makes each new game more tiresome to try and learn. Which, when you hear like this, sounds like Tekken is doing a good job. Well, on the other hand, this makes a game like Tekken 1, or any other past Tekken from the most recent one, feel obsolete gameplay-wise. And this gets worse with each game, because why would you want to play the first one if you can play 3, 5, or 7, or even 8? This is a problem of how we can preserve these games, because it's no coincidence that Tekken hardly gets any remakes. Let's go to a small detour and talk about a good example. Street Fighter As a whole, Street Fighter has a good mentality to the solution of this problem, with very memorable characters, movesets keeping the same, bringing new additions to each game, and of course, a new mechanic, such as parry in Street Fighter 3, charge attack with Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5 with its re-trigger, and there is no better example than Street Fighter 3, which it feels weird to explain this, but this game is still relevant in the competitive scene, having more than 20 years and 3 sequels ahead of it. And this is just the most successful example. Street Fighter holds many games that are still enjoyable just because they have such a different feeling from each other, but still are easy to understand to older and newer players. Visual and audio. Most people would say that Tekken 1 has a dated graphics, but is still a good evolution for the time, which is not wrong at all. It is one of the first games to use textures in 3D models of humans, but I would like to give more compliments. Models and colors really do fit well in game, bringing energy and making the hitbox fit for the most part. And the models facilitates reading what's happening, making the game more enjoyable to watch and play for casual players. For the characters ending, things get more complicated. It suffers from the choice of using the same damn song that removes most of the personality. Also, we must never forget how some characters are extremely cursed looking. Looking at you, love! But I can't deny delighting in such a unique vibe of the time that it's hard to say if it's nostalgia or just unique enough to be memorable. Okay, it's just nostalgia, but who cares, I will eat it up. Audio-wise, everything is serviceable. It's never something really special, but it's a good background noise. Conclusion. Even though I'm really critical, I can't deny this game is good enough for mindless fun, and I respect that. Play the arcade mode, see what you can do. Of course, if you would really want to have fun, play with friends or something, but let's be real. If you convince someone to play Tekken 1 with you, you just committed a crime. I don't care. To be honest, the game feels like a big test to see what works and what doesn't. And I can't deny that this is charming. And what is Tekken if not charming? And that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching up until this point. I would really appreciate if you could like, subscribe, and comment. It's not very forceful, just, you know, I have to do this to keep the lights on. Anyways, I really enjoyed making this video. There was a lot of research. There will be sources on the description of the video and the songs of the video if you would like to see which songs I used and which songs I didn't. Anyways, thank you for watching. I intend to do more videos about reviews and things like that I find fun, and also things that I don't find that much fun. Anyways, bye bye everyone. Thank you very much. Many kisses. Mwah.